They're the real stars over there.
Coach, big season last year, 11 wins. How do you turn that from a successful season into a foundational season going forward?
Yeah, is the attitude and the mindset that we show up with every single day in the building. Because that's going to determine whether or not you're consistent. I think the guys are ready to get on the grass. I'm tired of talking about last year. And college football is different in that we got 46 new guys. So a good portion of our team wasn't here last year. Right? So I think they're ready to get on the grass. The key is, from my seat, is to protect the culture that we've established, and that's that attitude of gratitude when you walk in the building, understanding that how we do anything is how we do everything, and then truly being committed to living that and not just having one slogan.
Hey, Coach, when you look at ACC Kickoff, days like today, it's a whirlwind. What does days like that mean to you in the program and just the value of the ACC Kickoff?
Yeah, well, one, it symbolizes that football is back, right? So usually when you come here and about a week or so later, you're on the grass. But I think this is a great opportunity to just reflect and talk about where we are, where we're headed, the opportunities that we have, the opportunity to get the message out on the ACC. I think that there's narratives out there around every league. I think when you look at what the ACC has done over the last couple of years, the willingness to play the toughest non-conference schedule, and then you have a very balanced league with top and bottom, quality teams that are capable of getting into the playoff and being one play away from winning the national championship. So I think it's a great opportunity for us to reflect on where we've been as we prepare for another opportunity to showcase the outstanding institutions and programs that we have in the ACC.
Hey, Coach, I'm a high school football coach, and I'm trying to find a way how to break into college football and to develop players and be in that situation to have that opportunity. I've been working so hard, and I'm grateful for where I'm at in this level of high school coaching, but I'm willing to look for opportunity.
Yeah, and man, it's unfortunate because of some of the rules that were changed a few years back that made it a little bit more challenging for high school coaches. I think the conversation is coming back around to maybe addressing that with the rules so that you're not hit with the individual associated with the prospect, because that changes. If that rule existed when I was coming out, I started in high school, I wouldn't have been able to transition to college. So I'm very hopeful that rule is going to change, because I think when that rule changes, then there's going to be, we'll go back to having a natural pipeline of where high school coaches, right, gain some experience, and then they have a pathway. But unfortunately, that pathway is blocked a little bit because of the way the rules are in terms of hiring a high school coach to the college level. And unfortunately, it's like that because the college coaches have used it, in the past. But what I would say to you is man, keep doing what you're doing. Stay hungry. Keep the main thing. Focus on the players, and just be hopeful and believe that in the near future that rules will change, and that'll be an opportunity to get you.
What can you tell us about Bo? You named him the starter. What does he bring to the team, and what are your expectations?
Bo, one, he's a football player. He'll tell you that. He showed that in practice. These guys, I don't need them getting close to you now. So how about you run a little bit and run away from him? Don't run into him. So he's a football player, competitor. He's got a ton of leadership, a lot of moxie, extremely intelligent as a quarterback, has an awareness of the areas he wants to improve and attack those with tenacity in this offseason. So I'm excited about the potential that he has. So and you just look at what he did, where he came from. Right? He's been successful. He's won at the highest level. So I'm excited about his opportunity to lead.
You also talked about how excited you are for this team. How far can this team go? What are the goals for this specific team here in 26?
So the goals are the same, right? So we have 5 goals, and they don't change. However, if we accomplish all 5 of our goals, it it can lead us to ultimately where we want it to be. So I think the potential of the team, if they can hit all 5 of their goals, will have an opportunity to be exactly where they want to be in the end. Now the key is the commitment. So I think the potential is there. I think the roster is a little bit different in spots, but I think collectively we increased our athleticism and overall team speed, especially on the back end of our defense. So I think we got Cam coming back. We got a ton of leadership and experience in the offensive line. So I think we're built, from the inside out, so to speak, the way we want to be. Now it's really going to come down to one of the opening questions: can we show up every single day with a humble and hungry mindset and attitude, and don't overlook any detail in what we do and stay committed to that? And that's how you reach your potential. So I think this team has a ton of potential. But the key is bringing it up.
Snaps and many roster in college football coming in this season. It's not even close.
How much top to bottom? From top to bottom? Oh, I like it.
And how much did that experience show through last year with a different team, even with all that experience, particularly in the close games that you won?
So I think, just referencing last year, one of the big focuses and opportunities that we had, we didn't have as much opportunity this year to do it. When you look at like JT came from a national championship team, Mitchell came from a national championship team, Seth had been, in conference championship games, Chandler had played in the national championship, so you had that championship experience that I think paid off in those games. And so what you're hoping is that with the overall collective experience, we can keep ourselves out of maybe some of those games. But when we do get in those games, those guys can rely on their experience, not to panic, but to trust the process, trust the technique, pull tighter together, and find a way to win.
And Coach, Chris Powell, Couch Coach Live. From a recruiting standpoint, what's your thoughts on the 804 area and how that stacks against other regions in the state of Virginia?
Yeah, I mean, we've been very, very fortunate to have several players out of that area come our way, and we're trying to grind in all areas in the state of Virginia. I think you got as good a football as anywhere in the country in that area, and I think you can look at the caliber of teams and then also the quality of players that are coming out of that area. And there's been some really good ones that have left that area and left our state that we'd love to keep home. Man, I wish we could say that all of the area codes in the state of Virginia in particular, because that's my focus, right now at the high school level is, man, the top players in the state of Virginia, I want them to stay home, and then we'll branch out from there.
Coach, you spoke about your relationship with Coach Sweeney in that 2015 season. How did your time at Clemson prepare you for being in these ACC championship type games and that consistency?
Yeah, so it's kind of a running joke, right? So you can see I try to cast a vision. So I cast a vision for the players that, hey, you want to go to the ACC championship game because they decorate the elevators. And they're like, nah, Coach. I said, yes, they decorate the elevators. It's awesome. And then we get to the ACC championship, they didn't quite decorate them like they got them decorated out there. And the guys were like, oh, we were looking forward to the elevators. But so when we pulled up and asked them, like, see, boys, they do decorate the elevators nicely for big time things. But just like those little things, like I'm starting to now recall them, and now I can now I see why Coach put such an emphasis on that, and so I'm able to connect, some dots, and that was a true story, and I remember, man, like we just lost the ACC championship, and what am I going to do? It's like, we're going to go in there, and you're going to cast the vision for where we're going next, and so just a lot of those things I'm able to carry with me and help me just continue to move the program.
And with that, Coach, what was your reaction to seeing Chad Morris got hired at Clemson again?
Yeah, I was like, man, are you sure that's what you want to do? Don't you enjoy kind of traveling around and watching Chandler play? But I could tell that, one, Chad is an unbelievable person, and he is a football coach. He is a competitor. He loves the coach. He loves everything about it. So I can easily see how with that opportunity presented himself that he could take advantage. I'm happy for him. happy for Coach Sweeney, because I also could tell that Coach Sweeney was in a good place once he was able to make that hire. So hopefully it works out, and that'd be awesome. How cool would that be for those of us to be back here in Charlotte?
As good as the running game came last year, I'd like to see you go to another level.
Oh yeah, we'd love to. I'd love to see now. Let's take it to the super explosive where we could have some of the more big explosives. I think early on in the year we had explosives, and we just became more efficient, moving the chains, control, and so definitely we'd love to see that. And I think that's going to be an expectation with the amount of returns and amount of just the philosophy that we have to be able to let's take it to the next level. And let's not just be good, let's be dominant. Consistently dominant game.
What's the biggest changes? Running backs, the past couple years in Isaac Brown. What has made him kind of difficult to game plan for when you kind of see on paper about him?
Fast. There's not many human beings that I've seen move that fast out of football. So he has elite speed and quickness. But as you study him, you realize that he's not just speed. He's a really good athlete. Now he's had to carry heavy body-wise. Don't know if that's who he is, but he's really looks like he's a team guy. He plays work. So all of the things that you want in the core of a running back, he has. But he also has that elite trait that not many guys have. The last guy that I've seen things like that. So that's what he's
A couple of guys said they were going to look forward to being the Bill. As a coach,
well, it's bittersweet, right? I was really starting to, now that we were kind of on the back end of the logistical nightmares and things associated with it, I was getting excited because I think about how many guys may never travel outside the country again. This might be their one time to experience something like that. So a little bit bitter from that standpoint. But the flip side is, man, we got a 7th game at Scott Stadium. We got a chance for our fans to continue to experience the progress that we're making as a team, continue to improve on game day atmosphere. That's the sweet part of it, right? But it is a little bit bitter that all the work that went into it just didn't come to fruition.
Talking about the fans, how do you expect success to show up in the stands this year?
Yeah, like it's up to me. We're max capacity, and they're crazy like they were that Friday night versus
Greatest field storm ever.
Field storm. Yeah. But even prior to that, like the field storm was awesome. But like there were penalties that were caused, right? There was communication issues that were caused in that game. Like you could feel the energy, the students were awesome. Like prior to that, so it's only fitting that the field rushed the way it was because the energy was great. Washington State, like you're going to talk about, it was an electric atmosphere, so that's what we can be and who we want to be and who we are and who we should be, right? So that's really what I expect. And like I've been challenging our fan base is that when we show up and when we show out, there's no better place in the country. Like it's right there in the middle of town. Like it's truly a college stadium, right? In a college town. It can be unbelievable. But I also know too that like it's show business, right? We got to show. We got to show you that like, it's worth the cost associated with it. I'm not just talking about financial costs. There's a big commitment when fans, decide to come to a game. Many of them have to travel. They have to pack up their families. Their Sundays are impacted. Their Fridays are impacted. There's a big burden and commitment. So I just want them to know that we're doing everything on our part to make sure that when you make that investment, that you're getting that return on investment because you're having a top experience in the stands and also the power of the product.
Can you speak to how important it's been for you to keep your staff intact? Because that's one thing. You guys had a breakthrough season. I was doing my homework, and I was like, we kept most of the staff there. So what's been the success with that? Like the key to that?
I think that started from day one. I think the reason that we were able to persevere through the tragedy and the tough times after to that was because of the continuity of the staff. Everybody stayed for the most part in locked arms, and we were able to continue to lay a foundation amidst all of the adversity. And so it's only fitting that when we have success, that we stay together. For the guys that have opportunities, like, man, Coach F did an unbelievable job for us all the time that he was there. We don't have the season without him, so it's only right that he's worthy of an opportunity. And it was the best opportunity for his family, so excited for him. We're also creating an environment that folks don't have to chase, so to speak. They can kind of be patient and find the right one, but in the meantime, they're still being invested in, they're still developing, they love coming to work every single day. But where that makes an impact is that guy sitting over there in the bowling. Like, that guy comes back because there's continuity on the staff. His position coach left. Right? So he easily could have bolted. He would have been, a high value, high dollar, high commodity on the market. And he comes back because of the continuity of the staff. Right? And then there's somebody in place that's been there, developing, working with him. He's confident that can develop him, and the timing is right. So I'm able to promote from within because I got that continuity. Right? Without that continuity, right, you may have to bring in a whole new piece, which may upset the apple cart. And now there's 5 linemen that we're talking about. They're gone because I don't have the continuity. So I'm just a believer in that, but that doesn't mean that every job is going to be replaced internally. Right? It's going to be evaluated, and it's not just going to be evaluated by me. It's going to be evaluated by other folks in the organization that have a different perspective to help me round out the decision-making process. But it's huge. And then if you're bringing in 46 new guys and you're bringing in a new staff, then you know what you're doing. You're relaying that foundation every single year, which is hard. So we use the analogy of building a house, right? We take the year. So from January to the end of basically the end of April, going into May, that's the foundation phase, right? Then we got the construction phase up until the end of July. Then we go into the showcase phase, which is July up until the end of October, and then championship phase in November. So imagine if you're trying to build a house, but you're having to redo the foundation all the way through the summer. Like, you don't have time to build a house. So that's just, I don't know if that's right. That's just how I was trained, is what I believe, and that's what we're sticking to. But I do see some returns on investment with that.
Let me ask some questions, Brett. How is the House settlement revenue sharing improved college football? Do you feel like it has? What are your thoughts on that?
I was a college student that, man, was fearful of taking a free coach because I could lose my scholarship. So, like, I don't think that's right. So I think there needs to be, rule changes, right? Now, where we are, where like we don't know who's in charge of what and where the rules are, that's difficult. That's challenging, right? I think the intentions are good. I think the intentions are good. I just think that it's a big can with a lot of worms, right? And we kind of let it open and let a lot out. Some we're not going to be able to put back in, but maybe there's some we can catch and put back in. I think that we just need a little bit more structure and direction and consistency. Right? I think there's good that came out of it, especially for the student athlete, because it's not just about the revenue sharing and the financial piece. Now we're talking about mental health. We're talking about long-term, impacts of the game. So there's some bigger picture items that I think probably would never get talked about if it weren't for that. But do we need structure? I'm a guy that likes structure. I like order. I like rules. That's just how I'm wired. But no offense to anybody that doesn't. But I think with what we're dealing with, because for some people, like Cam Robinson's just a name. Like Cam Robinson's like his son. When I look at Cam Robinson, I see so that's what we're dealing with. And I know in my house to raise my boys, there are rules, right? And that's just kind of my perspective.
One other thing, money, like it or not, is kind of a big part of college football. What does it take? What is the figure that it takes to be a college football playoff contender? Is it 30 million? What is it? What is that number?
Oh man, that's a great question. I think if we have hard set, fast rules, they determine what that number is. The leadership determined what that number is, just like we had 20.5, right? We said that's the number. So really, that's what the number should be. However, we're kind of in this flux where we don't know who's in charge of what, the rules aren't set, so now we're floating right, so now we're speculating what is the number. Really, if they say that the hard fast number is 20.5, so everybody's going to make it 20.5. I think the number can go as high as I just think we need somebody to step up and say, this is the number, this is what we agree on, this is the rules. If we want to elevate it, elevate it. So just said it, and then now, level playing field, and whoever wants to get to that level, they got a decision to make, and that's kind of what we did with the house settlement. But I think the implementation was a little bit more. There was a lot more in the weeds that maybe wasn't fully evaluated before we were forced to move on.
What's the biggest transition that you've seen from Dakota to Twitty as a scholar?
Yeah, biggest transition is embracing like his body, his size, and his new position. Right, he was a guy that was. I remember at Clemson, I recruited him as a tight end, but he wanted to play wide out. So he was that guy that size-wise, he was on that line. Like, 2 more biscuits, you're going to tight end. You know what I'm saying? Or you got to starve yourself to like stay light enough to play wide out. I think now he's embraced that man, I'm a big guy. And if I really want to give myself the best chance to play long term, man, I got to make the transitions. And then he's just embraced that. And then the last piece on top of that is just his role as a leader. Like I really started to see him step in as a veteran guy that's been there for a while, that's played, that's got experience, becoming more vocal as a leader.
Coach, I'm interested in your background as a walk-on. How has it impacted your journey as a coach? How has it helped you lead, and how has it impacted your journey?
So I was a recruited guy. I had scholarship offers. Went to Air Force as a scholarship recruited guy, and then I go to Clemson and was done with football, forced to walk on, and then I became a scholarship guy again. So I think the perspective that it gives to me is that you really do this because that's why you play this game. And whether you're a walk-on or a recruited guy, like to be your best, you keep the focus on playing the game like a kid because you love playing the game. And I think that's the perspective that you see with a lot of walk-ons because that's what they're doing. Like they're not getting compensated, like they're doing it for the sheer love. And you know what? Some of them are doing it against tremendous odds and not a true path to actually contributing on the field on game day, but yet they embrace their role and they have an appreciation. And then also on the flip side, that scholarship guy that sees that, and you know what? They want that back. But it's harder because of the position that they're in, right? They're a recruited guy, they got so much around them, like there's so much noise that it's hard for them to get back, but yet, and that's why you see a lot of the scholarship guys hang out with the walk-ons, right? Because like I said before, there's like thousands of respect, right? Like they have something that they desire, and vice versa. And so that's what's helped me. So I see both perspectives, right? And so I'm able to not see a young man for scholarship or walk-on. He's a member on the team with the ball, right? Whereas I think that may not be as easy if I was either just one or the other. Right? I've got both perspectives too.
Coach, is Cam projected to be back from game 1, and if not, do you have anyone in mind you can step up?
Yeah, so right now we're tracking as pushing him to be ready. Now once he hasn't been none of us have been practice. So he hasn't been full go yet. So we'll kind of see where we are, but the projection is by the time we get to grass next week and the time that we have without camp, that's what we're pushing for. But we'll make a decision to do what's best for him. Right? We won't rush him back. And a position that doesn't get talked about a ton on our roster is our linebacker position, but I really like the depth that we have at linebacker. So you got Cam and you got Landon Danley, who played 4 games for him and played well for us. That backs him up. And then you got Maddox Marcellus coming back, who made some big plays as a role guy for us, who's projected to potentially be a starter. And then you got Caleb Hardy. That transition to linebacker, and then you got probably the most impressive guy in the spring that made the biggest strides from a team standpoint was Miles Brown, right? And then the young freshman, Alex Brandon, right here in Charlotte. She showed up on the scene as a guy like, whoa, like see how he looks in fall camp. He could be another guy. So now you're talking about 6 guys, minimum for those 2 spots.
Little forced depth, huh?
No forced depth, but you know what? Cam, if he's ready to roll, we'll play him. But if he's not, we're not going to.
And then on the receivers, you guys have kind of had a clear number 1 the last couple of years. Is there a guy that started to separate themselves, or is that something you look for in fall camp?
That's going to be fall camp. Because again, you had so many, right receivers like I can talk about Wiles because I played Wiles, so I know those guys inside and out, right? It's such in the spring, it's the most frustrating position, right? Because it's like as soon as you start to make progress, hamstring, right? Shoulder, something, and so then he's down for 2 practices, 3 practices, and so when you had so many young guys and then so many new guys, and just having them all available, I think now with the off season and going into fall camp, we'll have a little bit more consistency to see how those guys evolve, and by the time we get to 29th, we'll have a number 1. But it wouldn't be fair to anyone to say this guy's a number 1.
Coach, how do you feel about your specialists?
One of them, I'm so sorry.
Oh, you're good.
One of them you brought up was Dallas Brandon. My kids actually went to high school there.
Okay.
He's covered high school football for a long time. There's 2 kids that stand out to me, like people and players. John Robinson, Dallas Brandon. This is going to sound like I'm heaping praise. I don't mean to.
No, he's worthy of it.
When you got a hold of him, I was like, oh, how? How did Virginia do this? And I go and I look at the roster, and I'm like, oh, he's got a whole team of high academic football loving kids. Can you talk just a little bit about Dallas Brandon, how he fits with the whole thing?
Yeah, so I think first and foremost, you hit the nail on the head. He's an exceptional football player, but he's an even better young man. Comes from a great family, great mom and dad. Dad played college football. Mom's no nonsense. She don't play around. She's hardcore on the academics, the character, all that kind of stuff. And so he was looking for that experience where he can get the highest level of football, but then also be challenged off the field. And once he came and visited and saw, our total, experience, I think he was very, very intrigued, and that's just where the recruiting picked up. But he's a young man that needs to be challenged in all areas, not just in the football realm. It worked out for us because we have an environment that can do that.
Coach, in a lot of ways, the best kind of special teams you can have is the kind that takes care of itself.
Yes.
How do you feel about your specialist group coming into this season?
Well, I think we got the oldest kicker and punter in the country, in Sparks. I mean, Sparks is what, year 9? Yeah, he's been, and it seems like he's been at UVA for all 9. He's been here forever, so we got, but no, with the experience that we have with Betridge and Sparky coming back, I feel good about the snappers that we brought in. Those were the 2 that we had to replace. Like you said, man, when those guys can go out there and your field goal guy is automatic, right? It takes a lot of stress off the offense. When your punter can flip the field, and I mean truly flip the field, it's huge, right? And that's the hidden yardage in the game that doesn't get talked about, but we talk about it every week. And winning the hidden yards matchup on each special team. Now the criteria are different because the aspects of special teams are different, but we talk about that hidden yardage, and we do have 2 specialists like we do. We feel confident in their ability and their experience, and hopefully they can even get better this offseason.
Thank you, Coach.
Coach, when your offense is firing at its best, what part of that is because of quarterback play like Chandler, and what of that is just the scheme of itself working as it should?
Ooh, that's a great question. I think offensive football, I like to say, is poetry in motion, right? It's really 11 guys all on the same page working together. And so if your quarterback's not playing well, it's probably the most visible. But your quarterback is playing well and one of your offensive linemen is not, people are not going to recognize that, but the whole 11 is out of sync, right? So I think you need to have all 11, right, playing on the same page. But I think there's 2 positions that can erase things, and that's your quarterback and that's your running back. right? And so I think when those two are playing well or erasing things, then you have the ability to get in rhythm. But it really takes all 11 on the offensive. And not to say that there's no defense, right? But like the D tackle can go the wrong way, and then Cam can go erase it, right? You know what I'm saying? And that's what we ask Cam to do a lot, right? Like, go fix it. But like offensive football, because of the way plays are designed, it takes everybody just all on the same page.
Thank you, Coach.
All right, appreciate you.